great, dude. Every time. I'm losing the staring contest. One of these days, man, I need to.
One of these days, you're gonna pop up on me, and I'm just
Damn
gonna be
it.
like, bro, what's up? What's going on today? You good?
Yeah, you're gonna freak out because you're gonna be like, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh man, you got a little heated today. I felt that one. I was good. Huh? Talk to your boy.
You're too good.
Yeah.
I would lose in the face off to you. I would.
Nah, in the face off, I'm usually a little bit chill, but this,
Are
you
you?
know, this is more.
So, what do you normally do in a face off? Like, what's your goal? I mean, do you have a goal?
I don't really have a goal. No, I just kind of go with whatever is going to be there. I mean, my goal is to show respect. Like, that's one of my biggest things, you know. I always want to show respect, even if I'm not respected, you know?
Yeah, like the guy smacked our...
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Even if I'm not respected, show respect. That's like that's the only goal I would say. And as far as that goes, because nothing's happening. Like, we are going to fight. The show off the face off is for everybody else. It's the fluff. True. It's the white noise that we'd always say. Yeah. But like, the real thing is like when we both step in the cage tomorrow and we look across at each other and
ain't no more talk.
There's no more talking.
Yeah,
you know?
No more face off.
100%.
Yeah,
I can feel as good as I want to feel at the weigh-ins. The fight's going to be the fight.
Fair enough.
You know?
Good point. Yeah. Well, welcome in, everybody. We're throwing down, going to kind of catch everyone up. We've had some guests, some really good guests recently. We had, striking coach, the amendments of the assassin. Mm-hmm. We went through, a liberating experience with
Mental Joe, Chad McLean.
Yep. And then the barber Rob, the homie Rob. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So kind of want to dip into a couple things, man. Since it was just last you and I, you got the big victory. You're going to be gearing up soon for another fight. Kind of talking through that UFC contract. You got to take a few trips up there to Vegas to kind of go through some of the things you went through. So, let's just get right into it, man. Mm-hmm. With, kind of like the multi-fight deal that you got with the UFC. Kind of bring us in on what that's like. What's kind of like the next couple moves you have to do? Is there a certain amount of fights you got to go through in a year, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I think it's 18 months. So it's a 4-fight deal for 18 months. So we're
18 months.
One fight into that deal now. So
that's kind of quick.
Yeah, it's a kind of quick deal. And like, yeah. Oh, you mean for 4 fights?
Yeah, for 4 fights.
I mean, I feel like 4 fights is every 12-month type of thing. That's my goal. Is to fight 4 times a year minimum. That'd be my goal. I think that's health plays a big part into that, right? Like, guys got to be healthy, but if we can train right, keep our bodies safe and be healthy, 4 fights a year sounds exactly where I want to be at. So hopefully I can get that done before 12 months and we can get into another contract. That's my plan.
That's your plan.
And then obviously all 4 wins is what we planned for.
100%.
MMA is definitely an unforgiving sport, and I'm in one of the toughest, most dense divisions, so it's easier said than done for sure. But that's always the plan. So yeah, that's what the contract kind of looks like. So I have 18 months to get it done. Plan to get that done sooner. I could always sign a new contract before this one's up, depending upon how my performances are going and whether I'm stepping up in competition and those type of things.
Right. And then the timeline is going to be end of summertime.
Yeah. So I mean, I had told everybody after the last one I wanted July, August. That still stands, and
of course,
something's already popping up on the radar. So I'm sure that'll drop soon, and we'll get something lined up and get a contract sent out for just that fight in particular. So
sweet. Yeah,
we'll be fighting soon. I would say mid-August.
That's what's up. So, if I may, if there are particulars in this thing, like say, as I believe, you're gonna win. Could something happen with your deal after this next fight? Like, could they want to restructure? Could you ask for something different? Is that possible?
Absolutely. There's always means for conversation when you're doing more for the company, right? If you're a company man and you're putting on, you're making numbers for them. I'm sure that they're more than open to certain different things. They want to promote fighters that are doing those types of things too. It's a business at the end of the day, and even though it's not all about show and everything, they do want to promote fighters that are also trying to promote themselves. Fighters that are also trying to do different things. It's good to be. I'm not say you have to do those types of things, but it's always so good to have those things in your back pocket and be utilizing those and taking advantage of the moment, because it is a big platform. It's a big place to be, and you can use it just for fighting, or you can use it for multiple different other sources as well. So I definitely think that that's something that they're open to.
I love it,
especially with wins. You go out there and you win emphatically against people you're not supposed to win against. Yeah, people start changing their mind about certain things, you know, what they're 100%. Willing to put into you. So
yeah. And you were mentioning a little bit about a buzz that people were saying that you look like
Vanderlei Silva. Oh yeah, bro.
Vanderlei Silva with what? Like just with dreads?
Yeah, with dreads because he's bald, you know.
Yeah, and, I remember him. Yeah, the dude was a
knocker. What do they call him? Axe murderer?
Yeah, something
like that, right? And he's savage, right? You know, so I mean, I'm not hating, like whatever. That's what you guys are gonna call me too. Completely different personalities, but hey, I see where things are going here, you know. Yeah, so they were reaching out saying that they thought that I wasn't. There was just a bunch of memes online of it.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny to see. But yeah, I'll take that as a compliment too. He achieved a lot of things in MMA as well, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just saw a reel that came up because you were talking about the Contender Series and everything, where him and Sonnen were going after it, and he was like went after him like in the middle.
Oh yeah, and the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
it's so funny. The Contender Series, the Ultimate Fighter, those get mixed up so much, you know.
Yeah.
And it makes sense though. It makes sense because it's like they're both UFC shows, but in particular, the Contender Series has a 8-week series where every week they have 5 fighters fight on one show basically, and if you show up and you fight good, you could get a contract. So it's and then the Ultimate Fighter is an actual 6-week show where everyone goes to one house. And
that's right.
They live together basically and work through all these different things and fight each week to see who ends up being at the end of it. So very subtle differences, you know, but that's what they are.
But yeah, I guess that's so I watched the Ultimate Fighter. That's the one I'd watch last, and I
can't let you get close to me.
Yeah,
I can't let you get close to me.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the exact one. And then it probably be like, at least for me on the outside, the other famous video was when that guy with like the pink mohawk was getting all crazy, like, "Let me bang, bro."
Oh yeah,
let me bang.
Yeah.
And he's all, like,
he fights
crazy.
bare knuckle boxing now. What is his name?
Does he?
Yeah, he fights bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah.
He's still good. He's gotten pieced up a few times. Fought Mike Perry and a couple different guys. But yeah, classic. You know, you can't forget about him. I just don't know his name at the moment.
Yeah,
a bunch of classics come from the Ultimate Fighter, man.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get on to Ultimate Fighter. I filled out paperwork in January trying to get on to the Ultimate Fighter because I was like,
did you ever hear anything back from that?
No, I didn't. You know, it was all good because it's not like I was like too reliant on it, but I was like, maybe I got a kind of cool story, you know, like maybe they'll throw me on there, you know.
Yeah.
Bunch of kids, not the youngest, it's like.
So is that all you can do? You can just apply? That's it?
So yeah, it's just like a normal application for pretty much anything. Like if you're going to go to Survivor, if you're going to go to any of these shows, they have like an application process that they have you go through, and basically they just have you get on there and give them as much about your life as possible, in depth as possible, so they can determine whether or not they want that storyline to be a part of their show. You know, because that's what it's about, getting views, and not necessarily do you have to play the part, but they want to know that, you know, they can utilize you to really push what your story is, because that's where their views are. You know, business is business, man, and business is good when views are coming in.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying, baby?
Well, you gave everyone a good view last time. Whoa. Again, second round knockout, bank, straight left. I'm going to bring that up.
I was going to say, he said knockout again. It was a submission.
Not submission. Again, I keep watching, but like
TKO
I know
submission,
TKO submission. Yeah, I messed it up last time. I keep messing it up. Mostly just because Adrian and I keep talking. I'm like, right here, freaking. Bang,
that left hand straight. That sat him down for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely thought that. Honestly, I thought it was over at that point too. That's why I took a moment. So but then submission is what the actual
some submission. Yes, but we've gone through I mean, since then you've been on endless podcasts. Gotten a lot of great attention, a lot of good stuff on your professional side, but you've also have taken another side, but it's in your personal life. You started a cooking show. Yeah. And the Smash Burger episode was hilarious. My favorite part was in the promo video, you went to chop up vegetables that were already chopped, but it was your hand. And I was like, what are you doing?
Man, you didn't have the green screen. You gotta make it work, bro. whatever works, you know.
So Marcus started his own cooking show, and it is gold, people. It is gold.
It's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. Man. Just having fun with it. You know, everyone's like, why did you start doing that? Well, like, I do like to cook. You know, it's something I enjoy doing. You know, I've always given my wife a really hard time because I cook a lot of times. I do more cooking than she does, you know. Her cooking is usually throwing something in the oven for the kids. My cooking is like gourmet, actually cooking, you know. So it's always something I have enjoyed, and I have a bunch of different recipes in my head and everything. And one of my buddies was talking me into it, and he didn't have to talk me into it that much. But, you know, ever since we got it going after the first one, I was like, man, this is kind of fun. I just like to goof around and, you know, make jokes and cook some food at the same time. So I was like, you know, we're going to do whatever comes to mind. I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
And then having Ryan, my videographer as well. I feel like we just vibe together really well. We're just goofy, you know. He'll bring up different things. I'll bring up different things. We're like, all right, that's what we're doing here. So
you're going to roll with it that way?
Oh, definitely. Definitely going to roll with it. So it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing, man. So I've been having fun with that. Also just started a sponsorship. So I have 5 kids that are going to be from my wife's school that are going to be training at the MMA lab. Me and the MMA lab teamed up to start that up too. Yeah. So it's just about giving back to the community. It's just about giving kids at a young age an opportunity to come and try something new, something that's going to test them, it's going to push them, that's going to build character, build confidence.
I love that.
You know, just all those types of things, you know, build self-control, like just those things. And not to say that like it's so much better than everything else, but it's just another thing in their tool belt that they can say they've done, that they could be a part of, you know. And then just also place themselves around strong adults that are trying to do the same thing, you know, because we're just kids in adult bodies that are trying to still build our confidence, build our character, build ourselves, our mental. So something I've been really excited to do, and so we got that started as well.
So what's that called? So where did this? I mean, I know you've been talking about doing something similar for a while, but is it called something specific? Are there people that can maybe get involved with you as well? How would they find that?
And that's something I'm working on right now, because the first part is I wanted to do it before the summer ended, so I didn't really cross all the T's and dot all the I's. I was just like,
just going.
Hey, we're just going. You're gonna jump into it, get 5 kids going right away, you know, and just do it, you know, and then find out along the way. So I do believe that I need to put a lot of structure behind it, and honestly, it wasn't even for that side of it. It's more structure for the kids. Some of the kids and the parents came and went on a walk with me, and during the walk I was just freestyling it like I normally do. Yeah. And in the midst of it, I was like, man, it'll be so much more impactful if it is not just to have it scripted to be scripted, but like, what's our mission, right? It's like, this is our mission, you know. It's like one thing to be, hey kids, chill out. This is what I want you guys to do. It's another thing, but hey, just to let you guys know, it was in a pamphlet, everything else, but my mission truly is to help you guys open up your mind, helping you realize that you guys are strong, capable kids that are going to be adults one day, and that you can still have a lot of fun, but you need to be able to control yourself, control your emotions, and understand, to be able to communicate all these different things. Like, what is our mission? Basically, I can explain that in a format that it's controlled. So again, it helps them as well, so they don't have to be as sporadic as I am, because I'm very much ADHD all over the place too. I learned how to control it, and mixed martial arts and skateboarding, all these different things have helped me hone those. But structure, building structure. So that's something I gotta get finding out. No name yet. It's gonna be crazy though. No,
like the mini Maniac.
It's gonna be like something. My youngest daughter's name is the mini Maniac. So
I can't take that one.
She won't let me take that one.
All right, we'll have to maybe even take it to the people. So if you can come up with something.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Any good names out there, you guys throw it my way. Maybe something foundation. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Something foundation, you know, because it kind of just works in there. Foundation, like like grounding, right? When you think foundation, you think grounding. So like, I was thinking Maniac, but I was like, it's just too to the point, you know. Something that's really good foundation, you know.
I got you.
So
I'm gonna be thinking too. It. Yeah. I like coming up with names. I don't know why. Yeah, but that's great, man. That's brilliant. Honestly, I think that's really a good thing. And I mean, you've been one of those guys that's honestly has been putting your money where your mouth is, if you would, or actually taking action on what you speak so heavily on. And I think, and like you said, you're so sporadic, or maybe this, like, you don't have a lot of foundation behind it, but you're doing it though. Yeah. So who really cares, right? Yeah. That stuff will come later. All the logistics stuff always does. And you're working out the kinks by just actually taking action, grabbing the kids by the hand and putting them through it. So,
and that's my thought, because literally I wouldn't have thought about the fact that I need structure had I not had the experience with them on Sunday. Like that just told me, like, man,
well, you wouldn't have got it done this summer.
100%. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have got. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it anyways, because I wouldn't have been thinking. It would have took me so much longer to realize I need this structure, I need these things. Yep. I wouldn't have had to pretty much fail. I failed Sunday. That's what it is. I failed. Showed up 2 minutes late. Fail. Right? Yeah, that was already a fail. Don't really have a plan ahead of me on how I'm gonna tour. Fail. Yeah. Don't really have any direction in like my mission. Why am I doing this? Yeah. Why are you doing this, Marcus? Like red button. You just want to do it just because you just like, it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's like, man, it's like none of the things that would automatically answer questions that don't need to be answered were answered, right?
100%.
And I had to fail over the weekend to be like, damn, I don't like how that fell. I don't like that. I went in there and like there was no real why behind it, right? It's like the why. Learn the whys. And live the whys, right? Yep. So it helps just to jump in. You gotta jump in sometime. You gotta get after it. Sometimes you're gonna fail, and that was me failing in the beginning of it. But I do want it to turn into something that really can give back. And again, not just in the MMA world. I happen to be in the MMA world, but I mean, I would love to start doing things in the skateboard world, rollerblades, biking, all that type of stuff. That just excites me.
Well, I mean, you're just able to provide like a quick outlet. But you're actually using your wife's platform, right? You're using her educational stuff where maybe, like you said, some of the kids, I mean, I don't know how you're picking them, but if they're at risk or if ones have great potential, but they're a little bit too aggressive or a little bit too assertive in some parts of their life, you're able to grab them and bring them to your world, like you said, to harness that, show a little bit more discipline and structure and actually a support system.
Yeah, so. And that plays a huge part in like and how we're picking, but again, like we just put out there anybody who would be interested, what I'm saying, and then the teachers might put certain names out there specifically for certain things, and not to highlight those things, but the mixed martial arts does help with those things as well, in a big way. So yeah, that does play a big part in like how we're picking it too. Just putting, maybe some kids don't have the best role models around them. They have great family members, but they don't have best role models around them, or men figures around. I've talked about that a lot, Right. And it's like just bringing them into an environment that's a little different. They get to see something different, and maybe it's just completely different than everything they're doing in life. 100%. They could be living in a completely safe environment with their family, nurtured, but they could still use some resistance, right? And need to understand that, like, they don't understand the how tough life can be, and having resilience, grit, being able to get through hard times, because you don't really have to deal with that.
I completely agree. Yep. Adrian and I speak on this topic quite a bit, how athletics help shape us as adults. I mean, anything I can go back to discipline-wise, sacrifice, team bonding, working out, discipline, structure, like all of it was shaped from majority of it of having to go through all those other things. Like you said, MMA just happened to be your specialty, right? Yeah. If I wanted to, like, I'd be able to throw a baseball camp together, like you. And I have, family members that could back that up. But even just working out, getting active, getting outside somewhere, stimulating a different side of their body. I love it, man. Yeah. I think that's great. That's
stuff that I'd like to eventually do too. Like, it doesn't have to even be just about the MMA. Let's go out disc golfing. Just switch it up.
Let's go hike.
Let's go hike. Let's go enjoy outdoors, enjoy things together, and show a different part of life. Right? We're also cooped up in our houses, video games, social media, and all these things are great. Like, I'm not the type that's going to hate on any of those things. But if to ignore that, we are not getting caught up in those things, and that those things are hindering our mental, our emotional, our livelihood. They change it. They change things. They affect how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and just getting everybody out there and getting them together can just give them a little bit perspective change, and that's what it is. Cool. I feel like that's what changed my life. The reason I am who I am is because I had multiple moments in my life where I got a slight bit of perspective change, right? Yeah. And through that, I built who I am, and now, not to say I'm this great guru or anything like that, but I'm happy with who I am, I love myself. I'm happy with the person that I've become, my thought process, how I bring myself back, how I hold myself accountable. I'm really happy with a lot of those things. So for me in particular, it's like, if I could even spark that in a child's life or even an adult's life, anything that just helps a little bit, gives them a different perspective that they weren't thinking, and propels them toward what their life goal is, that's my plan.
That's beautiful, man. I heavily invest into this one. I like it.
Thank you.
We'll have to get that.
Yep. Throwing on there too. Once we get once we get the emblem and everything set together.
I mean, even still, as we talk about just putting actions to your words. So, I think that's brilliant, man.
Heck
so,
yeah.
I mean, I'm very excited to see what comes out of that next.
Yeah.
So, man, your plate's stacked up, man.
Yeah, just stack and keep on stacking, man. Keep on stacking, you know. You too got that wedding coming up soon, huh?
August.
August gonna be a big month.
End of August, they're gonna make an honest woman out of her. You know,
100%.
about time. Yeah.
Honest man out of you. Tomato. Tomato.
You know
Tomato. It's the same thing.
No, I'm excited about that one. It's been everything that I've ever wanted. She's done majority of the planning, which is great. I just gotta have the task of showing up and making sure my guys get me there.
That's a hard thing to do, bro. You know, especially after a good bachelor weekend. You know, we've all seen The Hangover. You know,
right?
And you hit me as one of those. No, I'm sure. You just
Mike
hit
Tyson
me as one of those guys.
No, we're excited to actually be back home and like with the family, because we haven't. I mean, that's probably like the biggest thing of going through like the season that we're going through right now is the active season in Colorado, and it's kind of like slowing down out here. So it's kind of like opposite of what we're used to. And so
as far as business goes, business-wise,
just like activity, right?
Okay.
Summers in Colorado are the time to be out there. The summers in Colorado that's where you're hitting the lake. That's when you're going on hikes. You're hitting rivers. You're getting out to the ballpark and everything like that. Summers here in Arizona, it's kind of not. It's the off time. It's way too hot to be kind of be like, you know, so it's kind of a little bit opposite-ish. But no, and then it's just the time we're doing backyard barbecues and patio sitting and stuff like that. So, but not to say that we can't make that for ourselves out here either.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know, instead of pondering on it all the time.
Absolutely.
But everything we got coming up here, we're hopefully soon going to be pushing out to the public for distribution. You'll be able to find us on some grocery stores, liquor stores, on-premise stuff. Like, you know, a lot of places out there are starting to throw handles for hard seltzer. They're going to want it on tap, and there's really not that many options out there. So we're hoping we could fit that niche. So hopefully once we do start hitting public, you see the quality, the brand that we are, everything that we built here in this tap room kind of starts spreading itself out there.
Well, at that point where you get like your own brewery separate from your facility, because everything's brewed here essentially for the most part, right?
Well, Colorado. We would love for it to be down here though. That's the thing. Once we get big enough, it could be a possibility. But that's the thing that time will only tell with that.
Yeah. So all your guys' seltzers actually still brewed up there. Okay, my bad. I thought that you guys were brewed
No.
here.
We brought it down here because of the weather demographic, right? I mean, you think about unless you're a diehard seltzer fan, the months between November, December to March, April, really don't do that hot, right? It's cold out there, a little bit cooler. So you're not thinking of popping open a refreshing seltzer in the snow. Some do, you know, if that's all they drink, but that's where, you know, the craft beer comes in, the wine, the whiskey, you know, stuff like that. But Arizona's weather demographic fits this perfectly. Year round, it's very active, a little bit more, like, you know, on the lighter side. So that's why we chose here. That's why the tap room's opened up here. We wanted to test this market, and we wanted to branch ourselves out and to put ourselves to the test. And so far, being open well over a year, we jumped some hurdles we didn't think we'd jump, and we bulldozed through some walls that honestly we didn't think we could. The partnership, all of us are pretty resilient, so it's been a lot of fun. And then plus all of the like relationships that we built, Adrian and I have been in the boots on the ground, and honestly we're proud of the things that we've done, especially moving from home that we never wanted to move from. You know, we're comfortable back there. We made ourselves really uncomfortable getting out here, and I mean, we couldn't be more thankful. Like, you know, and putting ourselves to the test, because I can't tell you how many times I sat at my own dinner table, someone else's dinner table, you know, pounding on my chest. Oh, if someone gave me the chance, watch what I would do with it. Well, I got the chance.
Yep, we gonna put up a shut up, right?
Yeah. No, and that was the thing. Like, you know, if you, I mean, just to give us a good testimony. Like if you come through this place and you don't see my face or hers, it's a weird day, you know, because we've been here the whole time, you know, every single day. First one to show up, last one to leave every single day. But it comes to a test that we also have a team that wouldn't have had all of this. We wouldn't have accomplished our goal without them, you know, and that's 100% truth, but that's where the community comes from, kind of what we stand by as well. To be able to get this company or this brand or even us in a position to do the things you're doing would be legitimately a goal. Like, you know, but you've been working at this for how long in this community, everything you've given back, we're invested in that too. So for us pushing through, we're starting to gain ground. We're starting to get our feet under us to become like a staple in the community because we're here for real, you know, and making the connections that we've had, like especially with you, seeing what you've done, the relentless times that you've gone through already. Like it would be shameful for me not to weirdly take advantage but not acknowledge it, because you paved a road already. You set a foundation out. So our relationship would count a lot more if I were to be able to stand next to you, help continue pave that road.
Heck yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
And I believe that that's kind of been like our goal. And since we haven't been able to fully function on that level, just because, I mean, fine, we still have a responsibility here that we need to take care of, but kind of stepping out of the box that we're in, and being able to help fulfill some of the things that, like, you know, like again, like that, yeah, okay, I put myself to the test on this. I will always keep battling that and want to get better. But the other part is now with some of these relationships I developed, I need to take care of those.
Yeah, no.
If you
100%.
don't hear from me, you're gonna be like, well, what's up, dude? Like, like, you know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah. And honestly, that's what I think. Like, even for me, like it's all about timing, right? All these things are things I've thought about for a while. I have so many more thoughts in my head that will come with timing, right? I want to rush to get them done and everything, but these are things that I can do, like, you know, sponsoring the kids into it. Maybe I don't have everything set up as far as media to get maybe I don't have all the sponsors to get everything. And yeah, maybe I'm gonna have to come out of pocket to do certain things that I want to do for them. But that's all fine, right? Because at least I'm doing what I wanted to do, right? And it's like, and that's kind of what I'm gonna just go for it anyways, you know. And it's time right now for me to, like, everything kind of played out where it's like, okay, it makes time to do it, because I feel like it's like the airplane effect, right? You have to make sure your air mask is on before you put an air mask on anybody else, right? And not to say my air mask is completely on, because, you know, it's mostly on. Like I'm trying, exactly, you know, I'm taking hits here and there, you know, and then just trying to pass them off. Yeah, but that's where I am with it right now. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I just know there's some things I want to do, and I feel like I have the opportunity to do them. So I'm going to try to do them as best I can while I have the opportunity to do them, because who knows, maybe I won't have the opportunity to do it, or maybe I have the opportunity to do something bigger than I ever have, and because I did this, I'll be ready for the next thing, you know? True. So it's like, you never know, you know, and it'll be great. It'll be awesome to have you, you know, jumping in there too. And honestly, I think that's where I come into play too. Like you said, like setting up a roadmap that makes it easy for people like you, companies like you, to invest in. And I think structure does that, right? 100%. Like if I come to you and you see me and you already know who I am and how I handle myself, and I also come to you like, hey, this is what we're going to do or what we need from you, and it's already done, it's really easy for you to dig into the pocketbook. Right? It's like one of the easiest things to do is grab money. Right? It's like, but it's like, it's easier to grab money when there's a really good reason to grab money, right? Yeah, but then also too, when there's an opportunity to take action in it as well. You know, like you said, you can't come to us and be like, I need this from you. And it's not just a pocketbook. Means more. 100%, like facility, right? Like, or exactly. Like housing. Anything that's like, there's multiple things other than just finances that also 100%. As well, like places or beverages, right? Like, like, all right, maybe we need ice. Well, obviously, maybe not for like the kids. But they were like, hey, man, I really, it's like, you know, so many different things that we could come together to make it, but it's still, it just makes it easier for you to be more forgiving with your, whatever you have to give. If it's like, okay, this is for this cause, you know, and at the moment it's like, oh, Marcus just wanted to do this, so he did it. It's like that's kind of how it looks, because I didn't have anything written down, but it's like, you know, when I start talking about it and like, hey man, I want to give back. I want to be able to give kids who might not have had a chance to, for whatever reason, not even financial wise, time wise, to ever have seen what it's like to be in the gym, who might have really thrived off of doing it, to be in a gym, to have seen people early on in life, to get an idea that you can make a living doing different things that you never thought you probably could have. Just open their mind.
I agree.
Just
beautiful.
Just open their mind to different things, and that's in every different thing. It's like even having events on the weekends, like maybe where it's just like, hey, we just have a group of people get together, and at that event we have a little skateboarding, a little bit of hacky sack, a little bit of a little bit of multiple different things that just plant the seed. Right?
I love it.
So
yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before on this show that the youth of America is the future. We need to take care of that. Yep. You know, that's brilliant.
100%. I like you said America, because America, but the youth of the world, right? Hopefully
the world.
Hopefully the youth of the world. Hopefully we as a world can teach the youth of the world that they can do so much better than we have done.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And again, that's not to shit on what has already happened, right? There's been a lot of great generations that have done a lot of great things. But it'd be disrespectful to say that they can't be done better.
I agree.
Right? They can be done better with more love, with more compassion. We can do better.
Yep.
Like the human race can do better. It's great that we've done so many great things.
Right.
But we can go so much further. And then it's like, you hear people say all the time, oh, people are restoring my faith in humanity. It's like, you know who restores faith in humanity? The children, the youth. The youth are the ones that do, because they're the ones that let us know whether or not we're heading in a positive or a negative direction. And for me, I really think we're heading in a positive direction. I know there's a lot of different things going on in the world, as far as like politically correct things and all this craziness and the crazy filth that they're feeding our youth and all this stuff. But I still think that through that, there's still a lot of important things that are just being that are being taught, that are being overshadowed, that are positive, that are being overshadowed by all this nonsense, right?
I completely agree.
You know, because like, again, like going back at all this nonsense out there, one thing that didn't used to be out there was men's mental health, even during World War I, World War II, the Great Depression. A man better be a man, right?
Always.
And I feel like men are better when they can harness everything, especially their emotions, especially their ability to communicate, you know, especially their ability to do these things. I think that men are way better. So the men of the past might have been great men, right?
Yep.
But imagine how much greater if they could have communicated in their entirety, you know, and be able to know when they're feeling or what they're feeling, and act accordingly based off of knowing themselves, you know?
Yeah, because you can have that. You can harness it to use it as a weapon and as a tool, and know which one to use it at what time. It doesn't mean that, hey, well, having that as a weapon isn't a good thing, because it is. Having it as a tool is also a very good thing, and be able to utilize it in a different way. With everything there, like you said, it's definitely like, I don't know. I had that same sense, or that same feeling that, yeah, there's a lot of things out there that are going wrong. A lot of different things that, you know, we could go down the list. So much negative, but I truthfully believe that there's works in your community or works in your circle that are spreading, and they're spreading the right way. And like you said, the communication line is getting thicker. People are becoming more open-hearted, using more love, being more affectionate, and taking more action in other people's lives. And the ones that truthfully feel like they have a responsibility are not running from it. You know, I don't have an issue with, I mean, there's a few ones that honestly just right underneath me in age. I feel like I've taken responsibility in a couple of them, and I hold them to a pretty high standard, and mostly just because I've been held to one as well. And one has fully embraced it, and another one's really not. But that's okay. They still each get the same amount of love. They're going to get the same amount of effort. It's not going to change what I'm doing in my direction regardless, because I feel like I've been good up to this point, and I've been blessed, and I've everything, like the relationship I have with them isn't going to change mine with you, right? It's not going to change the direction of what I'm doing here, but I can still impact this person still, and take some of these things that, you know, other people are giving me to impact this person's life. It's not going to direct me whether they act, you know, one way or another. And no, I agree. There's something in the works, and that it isn't all entirely bad. The majority of the people do want love, and they do want to impact, and they do want to embrace that kind of challenge. They just don't know how, or maybe if they really haven't touched enough people, and they want to.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you on that. I feel like it is.
And I think that's because some people look at love as like this mushy gushy thing, right? And it is. Don't get me wrong, it could be this mushy gushy thing,
of course.
but it's also like this really hard thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this really hard, very intimidating thing is like, and people forget that side of it, right? Yeah. This thing like you can't help yourself, right? It's like an addiction almost, right? Everyone says love is an addiction. Like that's, you're like my drug, and it's like, it's such a true thing. It's not just for people, for things in particular, right? So I think that there's just this misconception of how easy it is. And it's a very hard thing, but through loving ourselves, which means doing the hard things to be who we need to be, through loving our community, which means doing the hard things to be better in our community, through loving our planet, which means doing the right thing. It's like doing the right thing is hard. It's very hard. And a lot of people hate on John Jones, but one of the things that resonated with me is like everyone kind of took it offensively when he said he was the bad guy trying to be good. And I was like, and for me in particular, it's like, what's so wrong with that? Like I don't think I'm a bad guy, but I've always felt like I was a bad guy trying to be good, because there's a lot of bad in me that still filters through my mind constantly. A lot of bad that filters through my mind, comes to my mind, and that's just part of who I am, right? It is what it is. Like I have that dark part of me that's there, and it's going to be there until the day I die, right? 100%. But to ignore it would probably make it even worse. Like that's just there, but that's not who I am. It's just a part of who I am, and I know when to utilize the tools that gives me in the right direction, right? And I think like it's so funny. I've been going to church a lot more lately, even though I'm not really. Again, my wife's been giving me a hardest time about this. You say you're not religious, but then you want to go to church, and then you say you say you're not religious, but then you talk about God and Jesus all the time. Like I'm not religious in the sense where it's like I don't believe in one specific religion. I don't believe that going to church is what makes me holy, what makes me, I don't believe in that. Like I don't believe that just even reading the Bible makes me, right? I believe that living the lifestyle of having a relationship with the higher power that I respect as God and Jesus, right? Those are the higher power that I respect. That's my higher power. That's who I answer to. That's who is timeless, right? That lives outside of the space and time that I live inside of, right? 100%. It's holier than thou. So that's how I take it, right? But she's been giving me a hard time about that. Man, I completely forgot where I was going.
No. Yeah, but you're saying like almost like the check-in, right? That's not kind of what you're like. Just because you've been going to church a lot more, you've been filling in those spots. That's what you're saying. That's
just what I've been filling in. I've been filling in those spots with my own worship, my own prayer. And then I went to the church recently, and that was one of the things that they were talking about was using the Lord to fill those spots, and using Jesus and speaking to Jesus and being intimate and having a relationship, and that's what forms the things that happen. You don't try to be better and then believe in Jesus because you try to be better. You believe in Jesus. You pray to Jesus. You think about these things. You meditate about the things. You talk about the things that you want to be, the things you want to feel, the things you want to push out there. And through doing that with God and Jesus, with Jesus, and it's like through doing that, you start to realize like, oh, it starts to become who you are.
100%.
Naturally, right?
I agree.
And that's like one thing. Like we had the conversation with Chad about using psilocybin and things like that. And I'm not against that at all. But I do believe people can use Jesus and God and religion in that same manner. And they do use it in the same manner. But for me, either way, I that's something that I have been using, opposed to using, alternatives. It's just been my relationship with God, my relationship with Jesus, my spirituality, having conversations with him on a regular basis, and just really having a conversation with myself and what I truly want, truly am, and just letting him know, like, use me at your will, and so if that's something that I've been using, so it's like I kind of push that to other people too, not religiously, but just like whatever it takes for you to kind of get into your zone to try to be who you're going to be. I love that he had that that's his mantra, basically.
His side,
you know. And I do think that God put all these things on the planet for us to try them as well.
I agree.
If need be.
Yeah.
Right. But we can abuse anything. We can abuse His word as well.
Yeah.
How many people abuse His word? His word, you know.
Every day.
Every day they abuse His word.
Every day.
That's what a sinner is.
I used
right?
to be I used to be guilty of that quite a bit, and not that I became spiteful or anything, but that's kind of where you were touching on it right before that, with how hard love can be. There's a lot of people who push people away because they feel like they're not deserving of that love, or they don't understand why there's a trigger or why something pushes them away, but you're just being everything you possibly can to that person. And then you can turn spiteful, or you can be like, well, piss off then. I won't. I'll stop giving you effort. But then that's where that last wall is. And if you were to just climb over that, you're jumping into a whole nother person. Now your souls are connecting. Now it's one of those, if you're not honestly checking in, or if you're not talking, or if you're not around that person, if you're not involved with that person, you're feeling like there's a part of you that's left. And that's kind of honestly how I've always had my relationship with God. He broke down everything. I was at the bottom. And it wasn't even like I was like crying out for Him. It was just like, I got nothing left. But then He showed me, He's like, you have everything.
100%.
You have more than enough. And you have the capability, you have the structure, you have the heart, you have the soul, you have the mind,
the health.
You have everything. It is you. And so He took me on a different backside journey where, my little, like I said, my little crybaby self, I have nothing. But then the empowerment that it came from that, where honestly, I had to sacrifice my own pride and will. He gave it back to me in a different way. And we talk about that for like Chad, as I've touched before. I've never had anxiety or depression. For me to look at somebody who does would be, in a bad way, would be very cynical of me. I have no idea what that person wakes up with every single day. If they wake up and they have to fight themselves first thing in the morning, I cannot imagine that. Mine is, like, honestly, if we're talking about it, makes me sound like I feel bad saying it, but I don't. I wake up with a massive amount of blessing or gratitude in the morning. It is like immediately. But that's my blessing. So why? So like you said, why would you not keep spreading that? You're going to church and you're filling those small spots in. It's making you almost subhuman in that aspect, where people are looking at you, cultivating and building that, but you're not in the aspect kind of putting yourself on a pedestal. You're reverting it. And that's exactly where you should be. And that's exactly why you're feeling like it's not all that bad.
100%.
The communities aren't that bad. No, they're not, because we're taking action. And that's okay to say that, because people can get behind that. And because there's other people around who are doing the same thing. They just need to shed light as well.
And they don't push it as much on social media, but the more I've been clicking on like a lot of like, again, most of it's like Christian based stuff, but again, I don't go into like religion. But a lot of it's like Christian based. You can see it starting to flood out there more, that people are starting to question themselves and question their word and question it's not the question to say that you're not important, but for us to really live in a life where it's like we're the main thing, period. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so cynical, right? It's such a cynical way of living, to be like, it's a depressing state to be like, hey, everything revolves around me. Right? It's a depressing state. Some people might thrive in that area, but it's like, it's kind of a depressing state, because that's just not the truth of the matter. We are a blimp in the space of time. And it doesn't matter how great of a person you are, you're going to be dust under somebody's shoes somewhere soon. And to live outside of that thought is like kind of crazy, right?
It is like it was all you,
100%.
Just you. Like, right, nobody who gave you a meal ever, when you were hungry, or something.
You don't think about anybody. Nobody else comes to your mind. Like you're I'm not saying don't be the main character of your story. Be the main character of your story. Chase every day as a blessing as you can. But again, also realize that people go through things, and be able to really take yourself back and be like, man, I woke up and felt blessed this morning. I remember when I didn't do that. I remember there was a time where I didn't say thank you to God.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like I would always wake up and do that. Like, no, there's a time where I was very pushed, like, oh no, I'm done with religion. And I put God in that religion book. I put Jesus in that religion book. Where I was like, I'm done with you. I'm done with all that.
Locked that box and kicked it.
Right? got rid
Get
of
away
it.
from me. Yep.
100%. And I wasn't thankful. And I didn't wake up and say, man, I'm so blessed. Man, this is awesome. Man, I have this, and that. I thought the same thing. Damn, why was my dad in prison? What the heck?
Yeah.
Why was my mom treated how she was treated? Why do we have to constantly move and do this? Why can't I be this color? Why can't it's just constantly digging a hole for myself constantly. And a lot of people who haven't done that can't understand how hard it is to break yourself out of that. And that's where like something like psilocybin could help. Something like utilizing like psychedelic drugs with intent could help you break back through that. Because I could say that's what happened to me, but I don't know if that's what happened to me because I wasn't thinking about it at that time. I just know that my biggest flex now and my biggest thing that helps me now is my relationship with God.
Yeah.
That's like,
and that's where you are.
That's where I am at the moment. Right? I don't need a lot of the other things. I just have my relationship with God. It gets me to question all the questions, the things I need to question, keeps me in check, you know, keeps my inhibitions in check, keeps all that stuff in check. So at least I'm telling myself and being true with myself and being true with the Lord. And then it kind of just helps me, you know. And,
I agree.
And it's been big for me.
No, I love that because it's pushing you to have these things. I mean, I know we, like, you know, went off on that thing, which we love to do. We're talking about the kids and going back to that. That's where you are now. That's where you're able to honestly put yourself in a position to get back. But then when I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh, this is going to work. Because I know you're going at it with the right intention. You're doing it the right way because, like you said, you're in check. You are accepting the responsibility. You are recognizing the blessing, and you're being assertive on the things that have been given to you, that you are destined for more. You are destined for, like, you know, giving something else to somebody who doesn't have it, or maybe does have it, but doesn't know how to work it the way that you now know how to work it. Whatever the reason is, you're doing it.
100%. Just being there and filling that gap if I can.
Oh, man.
Right?
That's beautiful.
100%, man. You too. We got to keep this going, man, you know, keep pushing this energy out, right? You got to see the energy. I don't know if you see that. There's an energy field.
There's a ball here and it's just growing.
It's just growing.
I don't know about the hip movement right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't know the fusion.
No, the other way. Oh, man. This is probably one of my favorite ones to do all the time when we touch on the things that we're passionate about, and we go through, honestly, we just keep uncovering a lot more of what I believe is true. So I call it truth.
100%.
It's truth to me.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Just speaking truth.
Having that side of one another, but know that we're actively progressing in many different ways, but allowing people to help progress us, and then us going towards them and helping them progress too.
Yep, taking it in and giving back, you know.
100%.
It's a cycle. You know, we're part of that cycle, and the better we play our part, man, the better.
Yeah.
So
if I'm gonna be cocky, I'm just gonna say that the chain ain't gonna break with me, because 100%. I feel like he put me in a position I can't go back.
100%, exactly.
And I don't think I ever will.
And that's that mindset right there. Like, and that helps the chain never to break, because you know, when it comes to you, you're gonna make sure that, hey, it may get corroded sometimes, but
I will.
I'm gonna straighten up that spot.
Give me some WD. I'll shake it off. 100%. You know?
100%.
Yeah. But coming up, I mean, we got your fight. We got the foundation thing coming up. We're about to hit distribution here soon. Things are going. You know, busy lifestyle, but the check-ins are always good, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know
sir. Let's do this again very, very soon.
Very, very soon. And then, maybe the next one, I'll give you an update. I got Marcus has been kind of bugging me about hitting some bags with him on Sunday. So
it never going to happen.
Yeah, depending on what I'm going to do, see how I do, and see if I'm going to go back. I don't know if I might need to teach him some lessons.
That first one in there.
I know, make my knuckles sore.
Exactly.
But you can find me at Brett Anthony M. Everything associated with the Elevated Tap Room here in Phoenix.
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram at Maniac McGee _ MMA, and then Maniac McGee 07 on Twitter, and then Maniac McGee on all platforms.
Yeah, and just know that this is kind of what we always love, and we always talk to each other about. This is what we're passionate about, and it's what makes us feel the best. And this is why we love sitting down talking to y'all. So awesome. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.